I now would like to go to a final set of remarks, probably a final set of remarks for this Congress as we draw to a close. And this would be to summarize some of the work of the Judiciary Committee, as I have been chairman for the last 4 years. I've served on the Judiciary Committee for each of my 38 years in the Senate. 4 years ago, I became chairman. Senator Leahy, my colleague from Vermont, who served as chairman before I took the reins, marked the occasion by presenting me with a larger-than-life gavel. Of course, that was a light-hearted moment, and I appreciated his gesture of goodwill and collegiality. It's this spirit of camaraderie that sustains the United States Senate and has guided the bipartisan accomplishments of the Judiciary Committee. The work we do on the Judiciary Committee shapes our way of life in America to a great extent. Its legislative jurisdiction includes constitutional amendments, bankruptcy laws, civil liberties, immigration, patents, copyrights and trademarks, antitrust laws, juvenile justice, criminal laws, and more. The committee conducts oversight of the Justice Department, including the FBI and sections of Homeland Security Department. It also handles consideration of judicial nominees. As chairman, I put forth a number of legislative priorities. I wanted to increase oversight efforts to hold government accountable and advance judicial confirmations. I wanted to strengthen whistleblower protections and increase competition in the pharmaceutical markets to lower the cost of prescription drugs. I wanted to enact juvenile justice reform and update our criminal justice system. I wanted to protect elections integrity and bolster victims' rights. At the close of this Congress, I'm happy to report that the committee has made progress on all of these areas. This week, the Senate passed the First Step Act, a historic criminal justice reform bill that had overwhelming bipartisan support in the Congress and the backing of the President. And earlier this month, the Senate unanimously passed bipartisan juvenile justice legislation, which legislation hadn't been updated since 2002. The Elder Abuse and Prevention Prosecution Act, the Missing Children's Reauthorization Act, and the Kevin and Avanti's law to help families locate people with dementia and others who wander and go missing all became law during the 115th Congress. Overall, 61 bills were reported out of committee, all of them bipartisan. Of those 45 bills, 45 were passed in the Senate, and 29 became law in the past two Congresses under President Obama and Trump. And if the House passes our criminal justice reform bill today, that figure would be 30 bills have gone to the Congress. And again, I want to emphasize all were bipartisan. The committee also delivered on judicial nominees, and this wasn't so bipartisan. The United States Senate confirmed a historic number of lifetime appointments to the federal bench this Congress. That includes 53 district court judges, 30 circuit court judges, and 2 Supreme Court justices, 85 federal judgeships in the last 2 years. This reflects an all-time record for the first 2 years of any presidency. These lifetime appointments will uphold the rule of law and preserve freedom and liberty for generations to come. These accomplishments weren't easy. There was contention. There was rigorous debate. And as I said, plenty of disagreement. The confirmation hearing for Justice Brett Kavanaugh was the height of discord on the committee. As chairman, I was determined to uphold order and the rule of law, protect due process, and maintain credibility in our constitutional responsibility of advice and consent. I took the allegations that were brought forth very seriously. The committee conducted the most thorough, comprehensive, and transparent confirmation process in history. And if that word history bothers you, it's numerically justifiable by saying that we had more documents on Kavanaugh than we had on the previous 5 Supreme Court justices combined. So I hope out of 500,000 documents, it's shown that we left no stone unturned. In the end, another extremely well-qualified justice was confirmed. However, the division that defined the Kavanaugh hearings does not define the body of work produced by the committee, this Congress. The Judiciary Committee passed 7 bipartisan bills to help families, healthcare professionals, and law enforcement address the opioid crisis in their local communities. The President signed these measures into law with the support of Patients and Communities Act. We also passed the Comprehensive Addiction and Recovery Act of 2016 to rapidly respond to the opioid crisis and prevent others from falling into addiction. With hearings and legislation, the Judiciary Committee also worked towards ending the pervasive problem of human trafficking. In all, the Senate adopted a series of 5 bills that were signed into law to enhance federal efforts to protect victims and prevent and prosecute enslavement for forced labor and sex trafficking. As a committee, we've made great progress on behalf of the American people. We tackled the priorities I outlined at the beginning of my chairmanship and achieved success on a bipartisan basis. That's what our constituents expect of those of us who are senators. That's what I strive to deliver every day. So, the 115th Congress is drawing to a close. Though I won't serve as chairman during the next Congress, I have every confidence that my friend, Senator Graham of South Carolina, will build upon the successes that we have accomplished. I look forward to continuing my service on the Judiciary Committee in the next Congress, and I'm thankful to all of my colleagues on the committees and even some off of the committee for their hard work and cooperation on behalf of the American people. I yield the floor. I suggest the absence of a quorum.